Hey guys, I'm Chris.
Hey everybody, I'm Robert.
And we are bringing you the cool menthol stylings of the Film Flamers. This, the beginning of August, our anniversary month.
That's right. We are a podcast of a certain number of years.
We are.
And today, we'll be starting that celebration by bringing you a hot take episode.
A hot take into our segue, our pivot, if you will, into ASMR.
That's right. Although I'm terrible at ASMR, so...
We'll do this instead.
We are faced in 2025, as you know, from our conversations about it and just by being alive, with a gluttony of really good and anticipated horror films. So, more hot takes than usual this year, and we are going to continue that streak right now by talking about the latest in a long line of these releases.
Right. And this is kind of refreshing in a way because it is kind of an A24 style movie that has found a new metaphor. The metaphor is now codependence, and it is not tragedy and sadness and depression, which has been A24's metaphor of choice.
Although there are some moments of those things in here. So if you're a fan of it, fear not.
I mean, there's a little bit, but I mean, it's there. I mean, but it's not like a wet Grinch salad.
Right. It's not the overarching theme.
Yeah. If you're going in hoping for like a Hereditary or even like a very metaphor body horror heavy movie like Substance, this is not that.
Nope. This is Together.
I feel like in a way it has been oversold.
Yeah.
Right. As such, but we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. So instead of shooting the flames, we are doing this. We want to do more hot takes. We've been wanting to for a while.
Yeah.
But something's got to give. So we're thinking about moving our shooting the flames with the news and trailers and comments and questions and everything else to quarterly, right?
And that would create a much fuller and,
quality versus quantity. Yeah. Not that our shooting the flames has been suffering in any regard in that sense, but I just feel like we don't have to like scrape the bottom of the barrel for news and trailers. We can really do big hitters, right? So bear with us. I believe the next time we'll be probably doing a shooting the flames is like October or something like that. Right.
Maybe, unless another movie comes out and we're just like, no hot take, but I guess we'll see.
October is the beginning of Q4.
That's right. Q4.
So that's what we'll do.
But we are here today to talk about, of course, if you couldn't decipher, the movie Together, starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie, and directed by Michael Dukakis.
Michael Shanks, you mean?
Michael Shanks. Yes. I'm sorry. I've been calling him that all day long in my head.
And it is not Michael Shanks of Stargate fame. This is Michael Shanks of short film unfame.
Yes.
This is the who's who of short film director, Michael Shanks. Who's that?
Who's that? This is his feature film debut. And, Alison Brie and Dave Franco play this very, very codependent couple and have been together for a very long time. And they're making this move to the country from the city, and, body horror hilarity ensues.
Right. And although not all of it's hilarity, because also it's kind of metatextual, right? Because Dave Franco and Alison Brie are married in real life.
That is correct.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting in that sense because I didn't know that until after I saw it. But they did have a comfort with each other that seemed interesting.
That was one of the main reasons why I was very interested to see this movie, because I wanted to see what their dynamic would be like playing a couple like this, right? Like, I don't know anything about their personal lives. They could be codependent for all I know. They seem to do a lot of things together. Maybe not work, but, life.
Yeah, like any couple, Yeah. But it's interesting because it does actually tell a fairly good story of codependence and what it feels like. And it has a lot to say about, well, maybe not a lot, but it has something to say about feeling comfortable and complacent in relationships. And does that mean harmony, or does that mean you're just together because you're used to being together?
Because it's comfortable.
Yeah. And is there something wrong with that? I don't know. I don't know that it comes up with any conclusions. And I think therein lies the problem with this film.
Yep. And we will do our best to stray away from spoilers in this, as this movie has just been released at the time of this recording. So where do you want to start?
I think you already gave a pretty good synopsis for the intro for this. This couple has been together and making a big life decision. They get with all their friends, have a goodbye party, move out to the country because she's taken a new job as a as a teacher. He's kind of saying goodbye to his aspirations as a rock star musician or whatever. And of course he tries to like hang on to that with his fingernails, you know, by maybe riding into the city every now and then to do some stuff, which doesn't happen because they have to stay together.
As this couple moves into this new home, they start to notice some strange happenings, or mostly Dave Franco notices them, about like this sort of need to be together and a need to be sort of close to each other. So much so that, you know, in very body horror fashion, they start to kind of merge in a way.
Yeah, one of the most fascinating things about this story to me is kind of Dave Franco's backstory, which is kind of midsummery.
Yeah.
Right? Because he found his parents, I guess, or he found his dad had passed away, and his mom was there, and she kind of had a mental breakdown. And so she just kind of stayed in bed with his father's corpse as it continued to rot. And she was just like sitting there laughing and crying at the same time. And he kept having nightmares about it. And that was probably the scariest part of this whole movie and most disturbing stuff, was just thinking about and seeing all that stuff. And then he has this hugely well-performed monologue about several stories having to do with finding dead things.
That's right.
And then he finds a dead thing in the house that they move into. And the dead thing is a little weird.
Yeah.
Seems to be a mess of different corpses that have all either died together. It doesn't really show much. He's not spending too much time examining it because it may not be altogether dead. So he has to throw it out into the field and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's still really gross. I think that you're correct, though. I think that there's a lot of moments in this movie that have some really like cool horror imagery and kind of like scary moments. I did jump a couple times in this, and I was surprised by that because I wasn't expecting that from a neon film, right? Which is like, you know, A24-esque at this point.
Yeah.
And but also like at the end of the day, this is a body horror movie and it was marketed as such, right? So I mean, we've all seen the trailer at this point. We've talked about it on Shooting the Flames. And the trailer does hint at its body horror qualities by showing certain body parts getting stuck together or even starting to merge.
Well, yeah, it kind of alludes that they have to like cut each other apart, you know, and it shows like the poster, I think it even shows like the eyelashes merging together. And they do interesting things with that. I think one of the most interesting is like what happens when you're sleeping and your bodies want to, you know, like even the hair or blood or you know, liquids want to merge with each other. And all of this ties with the mystery box of the film, which is a cave. And as much as, you know, I'm always down for watching a Franco brother go into the wrong cave and reap the consequences. And this one is no different because there is a cave involved.
And limbs are lost. And
yeah, limbs are kind of lost or merged.
That's right. There's some limb action.
But goes at a fairly fast. That starts off as kind of a slow burn, and then it gets faster and faster, and it does lean into some tropes like, oh, forgot the car keys, and you know, I have to go and see the exposition now, you know, which is just already happening, which really annoyed me. What was that movie where he has to watch the body or whatever, like The Vigil? The Vigil. And then like at the end, he like stumbles upon like a projector or whatever that tells the whole plot.
Tells everything.
And it's just that sort of thing, that trope annoys the shit out of me. Like, don't explain it.
Well, I mean, the thing is that a lot of moviegoers need it, you know, and I'm not trying to be like elitist or classist or anything like that, but there's some stupid folk who go see a movie that really needed explained.
And that's where that's where it departed A24 and went into Blumhouse territory is when it has to have the whole, some part of the fourth act explain everything to you. And I just don't like that. Like I would have rather doubled down on and they explained the wrong parts of it. They didn't explain the parts that was interesting to me, which is like the kind of like culty, weird cave vibes or whatever that's alluded to in the trailers. But there's a lot of interest in here, and I feel like it's actually could be a possibility of a franchise or even sequels to this.
Oh yeah, I would like to see like where it went with that as a continued mythology. I would say a prequel would be a really good idea to this movie without having to give too much away, you know, especially since like the whole concept of this is really dealing with like Plato's Symposium and that, and like the idea
you're going to have to explain yourself.
Well, okay, so they explain it in the movie even, but like, Plato wrote that, we're made as one being that's split into two. And so like for Plato and his philosophy that we spend our entire lives trying to find what is our actual other half, like there is for him one person that you are meant to be with. Right. And I mean, it could be a man, it could be a woman. It's genderless, it's sexless.
Because at the beginning, the Greeks, the Greek gods had like created man and they split them in half.
Yeah.
Right. 4 arms, 4 legs or whatever. It kind of goes into that a little bit, and they somehow turned that into a religion, and that's in here. I thought that was kind of fascinating. But there's also an interesting kind of like LGBTQ aspect to this story and movie. Yeah, that I don't know if it has anything to say about it, but it's there regardless in multiple ways, actually. Yeah. And so it's like, if we talk about this in the future, it's either going to be a February episode or it's going to be a June episode. That's right. We can't decide. Probably a February, I think.
I would think so. Better. Because I feel like
it's almost like incidentally LGBTQ.
Exactly. And that's what we like to see when we see those kinds of characteristics or traits in a movie. We want it to not have to be explained. And they really don't. They don't explain it. There just happen to be some LGBTQ characters and aspects to this movie that are there just simply because they exist, just like in real life. And I really appreciated that about this movie. Something else I really appreciated about this movie was the performances, which I know you already touched upon when talking about Franco's monologues, right? I think both of these actors do a really good job in this movie, and they sort of like act their way through special effects and things like that in a really believable way. I liked them both, and I hated them both at times.
Yeah, I thought they both did an amazing job. Mm-hmm. And the acting is not a problem in this film. It's just like the lean into that trope, and then being oversold on body horror. I think it has plenty of body horror, but like, it's not the body horror event, that I think that it's making itself out to be. I think it's a little bit more basic and popcorny than people are making it out to be. But I can see how it has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, which it's gone from like 99 to 90 now that it's out. Yeah. It's probably going to go a little bit further down, but I can see how everyone's kind of going, yeah, it's good, because it is. I mean, it's good. I think it's worth seeing. I don't know if it's worth seeing in the theater.
I mean, I think if you're a true horror fan, or if you're a really true body horror fan, sure, go see it in the theater,
Yeah, but it's like, we didn't have the biggest audience. We had like 6 people in there, and like, it was a huge theater, 6 people in there, and then like 2 people decided to sit right next to us, and they smelled like SpaghettiOs. I don't know if it's worth that.
That's true. I feel like, especially this year, these movies are coming to streaming like really, really quickly. And like, this will probably be no exception, because people have been talking about this movie since it premiered at South by Southwest. Like and I was surprised that we didn't get it at Overlook just weeks after South by Southwest, but we did not. And then they held its release for a while. I don't know why, till the summertime, but here it is, and I expect people to see it. I don't know that it's going to rake in the bucks like some of the other horror movies this year, like Sinners or Final Destination, but people are going to see this movie and people are going to talk about it. It's going to end up on some lists for sure. But yeah, like, regardless of that, I think that it's definitely worth a watch. Now, I think if we had not been given The Substance last year, I don't think this movie would have been marketed as much of a body horror as it is.
Yeah, I think it's the marketing that didn't do this movie any favors. Yeah.
Because this movie is really more than what they marketed it to be.
And less. Would I watch it again? Yes.
I would certainly watch it again.
Would I recommend it? Depends on who you are.
Yeah. I would pick and choose.
Now, if I wanted to go and look at body horror experience, I will always, even over The Substance, I would go back and watch The Thing.
Mm-hmm. Or any number of Cronenberg films.
For The fucking Fly, Yeah.
So
nothing's really top of those. Like, moments have like the end of The Substance, but as far as like the full thing through, nothing beats that to me, the initial body horror of looking at the corpse thing from The Thing. When the camera's just going over all of it, like the dogs coming out of the body and like No, I
think you're absolutely right. And I think that there are moments in this particular movie that sort of pay homage to
they do.
The Thing.
There is some good makeup effects in this for body horror, but there's also some bad CG. Yeah. Which is like, really? Now bad CG with this?
I feel like we're inching ever further into the future. Like, when is it going to look seamless? But yeah. I don't know.
Substance did, and that was partially CG.
Yeah. But The Substance is a once-in-a-generation film. It's the slayer of body horror movies for the 21st century.
Once in a generation, a substance is born.
She alone. Out of 5 stars, what did you rate together?
I rated it 3.5.
I also rated it 3.5 stars. Oh. So
I ran it through scans.
I also ran it through scans because I could not place a rating on it. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I think for all the reasons that we just talked about, I think it's an enjoyable movie. I think that I was surprised by aspects of it. Yeah. It's funnier than I expected it to be. And I think they need that levity in there. Mm-hmm. And
Alison Brie is special about that. She's definitely good at making things as serious as a car accident, but also adding some levity. She's really good at that.
And especially in this one, I think, and in the moments that we need it, we get some like comic relief. And
yeah, and I think I had to rate it lower on like story script just because of that trope that it runs into, but also because it has a metaphor story that doesn't have an opinion on it. Mm-hmm. Right? If you're going to do a metaphor story, at least have a stance on it to tell us something. There's very little so what here. And that means it's not solving a problem. And as a product, you have to kind of solve a problem, entertainment or otherwise. It's solving the entertainment problem, but if you have a metaphor, the metaphor is there just as plot device, and I don't like that.
That's it. I mean, it's solely using the problem as a piece of an action point, you know, and then like for setting up a movie. And you know what? That's fine, you know, but like you really do have to use that metaphor. And I think that a lot of horror movies do that so much better than this one. But I was terrified going into this that they were going to take that metaphor and symbolism and beat us about the ear, nose, and throat with it. And so I'm still a little glad that it wasn't like this onslaught of literary devices coming at me and still like an enjoyable kind of horror movie.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Well, I think that just about wraps up our conversation and hot take on Together. As always, we want to know what you think about this movie. If you want to go see it and our conversation about it, find us at The Film Flamers on social media like Instagram and Facebook and Blue Sky and Threads, all the places.
You can email us at tiredqueens@filmflamers.com or call our hotline at 972-666-7733. Oh, I need some love like I've never needed love before.
I cannot top that.
The scariest thing about this movie, Robert, was how awkward and cringy it was in moments when they were like doing these stupid proposals.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'll never do that again.
No, I almost like went into seizures. It was so awkward.
There's another cringy moment in here too, and I was just like, "Oh God!" It made me like my stomach churn.
And it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. It was by design, but like, whoa. Anyway, y'all go see it.
Yeah, do it, and then maybe you'll have some sweet dreams.